Morning world, it's 8:05 in the morning on the 9th of May 2014. I've just come into work and I've opened up my astrological software and I thought, right, what's going on in the skies today? Let's have a look at the heavens. And it is opposition city up there. You have the sun opposite Saturn getting stronger over the next 36 hours. That's going to cause a few ructions. That's going to cause a few fracturings. We've got Jupiter opposite Pluto ongoing. We've got Uranus opposite Mars ongoing. We've got Venus opposite Mars. Well, that's around for 2 or 3 days. And also at the moment and for the next, 16 hours or so, we've got the moon opposite Chiron. The only planets in the sky that aren't in opposition to anything are Mercury and Neptune, and they're square to each other. So today's a pretty black and white yes-no day, and it's made me think about the nature of oppositions. And when I saw that Moon-Chiron opposition, I was reminded, I did 2 or 3 charts yesterday with a lot of serious Chiron stuff in. So I just want to do the rest of this video, after warning you that today's going to be a little bit yes-no, black-white. The rest of this video is about the nature of Chiron, especially in conjunction and opposition. In the last few days, I seem to have done a lot of work with Chiron on individual clients and individual readings, and especially on some of the updates, the yearly and 6 monthly updates that I'm doing. And it seems that Chiron's really kicking at the moment. When you've got Chiron conjunct or opposite or sometimes square the sun, then that's fairly easy to define. It's all about the lack of confidence, the lack of sense of identity or individuality, the sense of uniqueness, the sense of oneself is seemingly absent. And there can be, in other people's eyes, a lack of identity, a lack of substance in the individual. And often there's major issues with male role model imagery, an absent father, a wounded father, or a tyrannical father. There's Sun Chiron, Sun opposite Chiron, Sun conjunct Chiron, Sun square Chiron. It's stuff to do with male role model imagery and empowering oneself in terms of identity and individuality. Similarly, Chiron conjunct or opposite the midheaven will also have a very powerful influence in the individual's upbringing, especially in the first 7 years, and as they grow into being an adult, their long-term professional direction and their own personal family and residential security. A lot of this will hinge on the first 7 years and the relationship that the individual has with the parents and the amount of wounding, neglecting that takes place. With Chiron with the ascendant, on or opposite the ascendant, this is a hard one also. This is where, and sometimes for some strange reason, this works with the moon as well. With Chiron on or opposite the ascendant, or the moon on or opposite the ascendant, there is a difference here. It's about relationships. Many of these people, when young, will say to themselves, oh, if only I was in a good relationship, then everything else would be all right. At which point I turn around and say, but how can you be in a good relationship with anyone else until you're first of all in a good relationship with yourself? There's always the tendency to look for the saviour, or for the individual with this aspect to be the saviour and thus attract all the victims, martyrs and the poor me's. And then there's Chiron moon. I don't know what the universe is doing, but it seems to be pushing a lot of these people to me at the moment. And I'm having to deliver some pretty hard words and talk to people in words that I really don't want to hear. Because when you see Chiron conjunct the moon or Chiron opposite the moon, even in the best of circumstances, there's going to be an element of emotional neglect. And sometimes it's downright abandonment. And these people will resonate strongly with Chiron conjunct, square or opposite the moon to ideas of feeling emotionally abandoned, unwanted, neglected and ignored in the first 7 years of life. And they have to find their emotional succor from elsewhere. They're not going to really find it from their childhood reminiscences. It's a hard one, Chiron moon. But then Chiron with anyone exposes the frailties, it exposes the wounds, but it also makes you look at yourself and go, yeah, that's me, warts and all. And if you can live with that, remembering that with Chiron, 98% is good enough, because if you had 100%, you'd have wings on your back. And you're never going to be good enough, but you're always getting better. If you can integrate and allow Chiron to exist, you become far more wholesome. Love your shadow. Love the dark side. Chiron needs a home. Catch you later.